I have been asked by quite a few people to take a look into whatever this is. It's called Stop Killing Games. The only thing that I've heard from this, by the way, is PirateSoftware is yet again involved in more drama for some reason. I don't know why. I don't know what it's all about. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to consumers. Wait, is this about live service games? An increasing number of video games are sold effectively as goods with no stated expiration date, but designed to be completely unplayable as soon as support from the publisher ends. This practice is a form of planned I can't say this word, obsolescence, and is not only detrimental to customers, but makes preservation effectively impossible. Furthermore, the legality of this practice is largely untested in many countries. Just based on this, which obviously is an incredible amount of thing to go off of, challenging the legality, the legal problem of publishers destroying video games they've sold because they're sold as goods with no expiration date, but designed to become unplayable when support from the publisher ends. I can definitely see this being a big problem, especially in live service games and also games like MMOs, kind of games that get frequent updates. Probably less of a problem in, for example, single player games that have like a story and if they get to a point with like no bugs, I guess, but it still definitely could be an issue at that point. But I don't understand why anybody could see this and have like a big problem with it. But before I sign anything and support it, I would like to get the full picture, of course, so we can watch a Most Critical video.
And then you ask yourself, well,
So this is Most Critical Stop Killing Games. Hopefully we can get the full picture
you know
here.
What this is right here, pal.
Jazz hands.
Not tough guy. You feeling lucky?
No.
Yeah, that's right. Spirit fingers.
What?
Do you know why? Because it's been about 30 hours since I last slept, and I've done 3 different intros, all of which crash and burned, and I am off my gourd, so now I'm going wacko mode.
Yeah, I feel that. Bro, I was always under the impression that Most Critical basically just one take. I thought it was one take Jake, dude. I thought he one-shot all of his videos.
In my sleep-deprived state, I am still lucid enough to recognize how cattywampus the AAA gaming space has become.
I literally made a video about this on my second channel, Brand Offline, about video games basically selling half-baked products at this point and finishing their game with paid DLC, so you're paying like 2 to 3 times the price for one completed game, or what feels like one completed game.
The gaming industry is getting away with more and more garbage where they'll take a shit in your mouth and you're expected to thank them for adding some flavor to your taste buds. It's
That's exactly what I'm saying. That is a very wild way of putting it, but that's fair.
Terrible. And there is an initiative that has been aiming to fight back against a lot of these practices that I think really need some big overhaul. And it's an initiative that I think a lot of you are probably very familiar with. It's called Stop Killing Games.
Okay, am I crazy for this literally being the first time I have ever heard of this initiative? Was this a big thing that I just flew under my radar somehow?
And I've followed it since its inception. I've talked about it on stream quite a few times, though this is my first video going over it. And I regret that now because I see it wasn't going as well as I thought it was. Admittedly, I didn't follow how successful the initiative was, only that it was aiming to do good for consumers, and that it was taking proper steps legally to get there. And
okay, so that sounds like a great thing.
It was going through all of the right channels. And now today I watched a video from the guy that's spearheading this. His name is Ross. He posted a video called The End of Stop Killing Games, where he's giving an update on where everything's at and how it's kind of at the finish line here with a lot of failure to show for it, with only a few other chances to fight back.
Wait, why though? I feel like most people should be behind this, right?
Now, before getting into the weeds on the topic, I want to get this in the beginning because I imagine the vast majority of people won't watch the whole thing.
Okay.
I'm putting a link to the full video on Stop Killing Games, as well as a link to where you'd go to help support the Stop Killing Games initiative, because there's only a little bit of time left for the most important parts of it now that it's at the end. But for those that don't know anything about Stop Killing Games, I'm going to let him explain it in his own words, so that way you can get an actual, correct, informed explanation of what the initiative is. And the reason I say it like that, kind of like fucking all, pinky out, snooty, is because a lot of people don't even really know what this is because of people like PirateSoftware completely misrepresenting what the initiative was.
What did bro do now, dude? Oh my goodness, I swear to God.
As a refresher, Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement to stop publishers from effectively destroying video games they have already sold to customers.
I'll pause right there. The simplest bare bones.
Is that all you need to know? I mean, okay. 10 out of 10, good.
Bones, birthday suit, butt-ass naked explanation for what this is. Stop destroying things that people have paid money to own.
Yes.
I think that is a very understandable, very reasonable take.
Unless it's like one of those rage rooms where you literally pay to go destroy it.
Very agreeable. Now I want to quickly jump to a different spot in this video because I think it's important to have this in the beginning because it's something a lot of people have heard that comes from someone that is just wrong about it. It's the Pirate Software.
Okay.
Ross is addressing the video Pirate Software made many months ago. Ross even says that he didn't plan on doing that because he didn't want to be seen as using this for drama farming, because it would start to make the movement look less of like a legitimate initiative and more of just like drama slop content type thing.
Damn, hey, good on him for kind of not getting into the drama to make his initiative actually stand out and still feel like an actual initiative. It's a good ethical move.
But he finally starts talking about Pirate Software here because it's at the end of the life cycle of this initiative, and it's not looking promising, so he's willing to do anything to try and set the record straight and hopefully start getting more momentum back to the movement, because the damage Pirate Software did to it through his video was substantial.
This video came out right as we were building momentum. Then, except for one boost in Germany, the signatures started drying up like clockwork.
You know what's crazy? I think I actually have seen that thumbnail. I just never clicked it.
Ford does not understand what Stop Killing Games is. Here it is in his words.
So for those who don't understand...
Okay, if we're listening to Pirate Software, dude, I have to go to normal speed because bro talks pretty fucking quick.
The Stop Killing Games initiatives...
Christ, never fucking mind, let me put it on 3 times.
...is basically, we don't want single-player games
No.
to have DRM that the developers can turn off and thus render the single-player games inactive anymore. That's the... This is what they want to change. They need to be specific that they're talking about single-player games that do...
But they're not, right? It's all games.
not need a server to support them.
No.
And as much as they want it to be about specifically games, whereas a single-player game that has always online functionality...
Okay, but where did it say single-player games?
Would impact every live service game that exists, instead of just targeting single-player, always online games.
But that's the point, right? Isn't that the point?
No, that's not what it is. Stop Killing Games includes single-player games, but nothing about it is specific to them.
No.
He completely made that up, and I have no idea where he got that impression. It's the first line on the website. Stop Killing Games is a consumer movement started to challenge the legality of publishers destroying video games they have sold to customers.
Yeah, okay,
But
so
the
he just got it wrong. I sat through like a 2.5 to 3 hour, I can't even remember how long it was, Dr. K video. I really enjoyed Dr. K content. I saw Dr. K's interview with Pirate Software, and I'll keep it a buck, dude. I really thought the World of Warcraft drama with Pirate Software was blown way out of proportion. But bro, that dude just sounds arrogant, snarky, and unfucking pleasant to discuss anything with. Oh my god. He's never wrong, so I'm not going to be surprised if he doesn't own up to his mistakes here.
It includes all this stuff from earlier, and he was mostly talking about the initiative.
He didn't even get the Cliff Notes summary right. He missed all the QTEs and got the bad ending on understanding the initiative from the jump here.
He did work for Blizzard. Oh, sorry, that makes it all right to be a dick.
Ross is correct.
Yeah, of course.
This has nothing to do with just single-player only games that require an online connection, that when the online connection is severed, you lose access to the game.
Yep.
Like, yeah, that is included in all of this, but that's not, like, what the whole movement is about. And for some reason, Pirate Software is stun-locked on that, like, fixated, as if that is the actual, like, meat and potatoes of Stop Killing Games.
Yeah, I don't get
why. They need to be more specific in their language about it being single-player, always online.
If it was just about single-player online games, I'm sure they would have been more specific. Have you ever thought the reason they weren't specific about it is because it's not just about single-player
connectivity games?
Dude, I'm losing my mind.
When that's just not what it's about. Like, they're not being specific about that because that is not what they are specifically targeting.
This
it is about the whole practice of destroying games that consumers have already purchased and having no end-of-life plans for games that are being sunset. So, for example, The Crew. The Crew is an example everyone is going to reference and talk about because Ubisoft is still currently in a lawsuit battling against it for what
Oh, what the hell? I am so out of the loop, dude. This is insane. I have no idea what this is.
happened with this game. I've yapped about it quite a bit, so I'm not just going to regurgitate that. I'm sure a lot of you already know the story about it.
Okay, I don't, but that's fine.
You buy The Crew, Ubisoft pulls the plug on the servers, you can't play The Crew anymore, now it's just an old wet dream of what once was. And they are facing a lawsuit, and while this is in the umbrella of Stop Killing Games, it is not the only thing Stop Killing Games is referencing.
Not. By the way, I do think that is incredibly fucking scummy. You bought The Crew and can no longer download it. It shows a message. You no longer have access to this game. Why not check the store to pursue your adventures? I think it's even scummier that they try to get you to buy more shit after stealing from you. What the fuck?
When it comes to this practice, Pirate Software is so hung up on it being single-player games that people lose access to, when that is a component of it, but not the entire focus.
Well, the short version
I think it's good that Charlie's clearing this up, in all fairness.
is the initiative is about requiring publishers to have end-of-life plans for games they've sold to customers in the future. So when they shut them down, customers can continue running them without their support. So that's one thing Thor doesn't understand, but he also seems to think this is about converting multiplayer games to single player.
Would this also work, by the way, in the essence of Destiny, with the fact that their game basically became redundant because you can hardly play the original Destiny anymore? And not only that, would it also work for Destiny 2 when they sunset the story content? If I bought Destiny 2 when it released, like I did, if I play it today, I can't play the story content that was in the game in the original because they've sunset that shit. They vaulted it. It doesn't exist in their game files anymore. There's no code for it. Yes? Surely this is just a good fucking thing to do then. What is the problem?
An entire multiplayer server-side game into a single-player video game, which means rebalancing the entire experience around single player.
No, it doesn't, because that's not the fucking problem. Where did you even get that problem from? What?
Rebuilding everything in the entire game. How are you going to do that with Final Fantasy XIV? You're just going to make all the raids soloable? Imagine the day that World of Warcraft shuts down.
What argument is that? What? Oh my god, bro's making demons to fight.
And suddenly you have to make it a single-player game for every individual that ever bought the game.
No, you
That's what
don't.
they're asking for.
No, it's not.
Because they would have to sunset live service games as a single-player experience. The idea that suddenly you need to make every single live service game playable single-player offline.
Listen, holy fuck. Why is bro so stun-locked on single player? This is pissing me off.
No, dude.
Correct. No.
This part is more confusing than Finnegan's Wake. Because nowhere in anything on Stop Killing Games has this even been like a talking point from anyone besides PirateSoftware. I don't know where he pieced this puzzle together. Like,
yeah.
Like I don't get it.
I have no idea, dude.
Like if I'm gonna try and like really reach here and give like a charitable explanation for this take, maybe he's extrapolating based on the idea that if publishers have to have end-of-life plans for their games, that includes MMOs, where once the game is getting sunset, you're pulling the plug on it, you would then need to turn the game over to the community in a playable state, an accessible state, like give the code to them. Thus, it'd turn it into a single-player experience, so the onus would be on the developers to rebalance their game to be a single-player experience for them.
No.
I guess. I have no idea. That still just doesn't make any sense, but maybe that's the tree he's barking up with that thought process. I really don't know, because Stop Killing Games...
I don't think it is. I think he just misread the entire situation and cannot admit that he was wrong about it and just apologize.
At no point ever says any of these multiplayer games need to be converted to single player. That really is outlandish. And the more I think about it, like, the more nonsensical it becomes, because even in PirateSoftware's hypothetical fanfic there, why would the developers need to rebalance the game? They would just turn over the code to the community and just it'd be in that state. They're no longer responsible for...
They're not developers anymore. They're ex-developers.
Balancing the game, that's the whole point. They're not indefinitely supporting it. They would just be responsible of leaving the game in an accessible state to the community while they would shut down the servers on their end. Like, they wouldn't need to go back through with a whole development team and, like, you know, tweak the game to be single-player compatible. It just doesn't make sense. Like, I really do not understand that one.
I don't understand where the idea even came from, other than he just misread it.
But apparently a lot of people latched onto that talking...
Please tell me at least he apologized, right? I'm going to assume not based on previous PirateSoftware shit, but...
point from PirateSoftware is something that Stop Killing Games was asking for, and how unreasonable it was. Which, if that's what Stop Killing Games was asking for, it would be unreasonable.
It would.
But that's not what it's asking for.
Nowhere in there does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games.
Oh, he's so close. He's so...
Wait, I'm so confused. You just read it out. You just read the literal thing that disproves everything you're saying. What? I'm going to go back. I'm confused.
Does it say that it's directly targeting always online single-player games?
Oh, he's so close. He's so close to getting it.
It is vague, and because of that, it will impact.
He never has that light bulb moment.
Oh my god, bro. It's like they're teasing him by putting the two fucking the two wires so close to each other that you can smell.
I can smell you.
The smoke forming from the spark, but it just never hits. But Brian, he looked at it from another perspective. He should look at it from the right perspective.
Well, he is correct in that statement. It's almost as if that's not what the initiative is asking for.
Exactly.
I know this part is once again just reinforcing that he doesn't know what the Stop Killing...
It's regurgitating information, but it's necessary.
Games movement is about. But I have to just show you this because it is so fascinating, because he himself literally calls out that Stop Killing Games at no point explicitly mentions single-player always-online games or anything like that.
But it doesn't not mention it, so that means I can say it's only about that. You fucking...
And for some reason, instead of following the breadcrumbs that would naturally lead him to the conclusion of, oh, maybe I misunderstood. Maybe because it's absent here, that's not what this is actually
Exactly.
about. Instead, he uses it as a criticism against the Stop Killing Games initiative entirely, saying it's just too vague. It's way
Bro just doubles down again.
too vague. The reason it is not explicitly stated there is because that is not what the whole initiative is about. It is not specifically targeting that thing that you keep saying that it is.
Exactly.
I don't know how that never clicked.
But those were his streams with a smaller audience.
Okay.
What does he say in his big YouTube video with over 1 million views that he had time to research?
Oh god.
If we're trying to kill off the practice of developers putting together a live service game, pitching it as a single-player experience, and then taking away support in the future.
Now he's changed it again and is making up how it's about single-player games are advertised. What is he
Bro just has a fucking fetish with single-player games, I think, or at least the word single-player games.
doing?
It needs to be specific about the business practice it's trying to defeat, which is specifically companies that are doing this under the guise of it being a single-player game, but adding online-only functionality that is not necessary and doesn't add any gameplay. That's the-
No, that's not it at all.
This is a really strong section from Ron.
Bro, I am actually losing brain cells. What the fuck? By the end of this video, we are all gonna go sign this petition, by the way, and I want anybody watching this YouTube video that I end up uploading with this video to also do the same and subscribe to the channel. Yeah.
If we don't like the idea of live service games as a whole, I get it. Don't play live service games then. Don't agree to those terms.
No,
Okay.
he's getting a new thing wrong now. We're not against them
This needs to be a meme. Somebody needs to clip this and use this as a meme for like anything going forward.
We're not against them existing. We're against them being destroyed with no recourse for the customer.
Exactly.
PirateSoftware then goes on to talk about like the business practice of misleading consumers into thinking that what they're buying is a product as opposed to a license to a product, which is a totally separate thing. And then he criticizes Stop Killing Games for not being specific about that thing that he is bringing up.
Okay.
Our problem is not with licenses failing to inform people. Blizzard says they can take away your purchase for no reason. That sounds pretty clear to me. Our problem is those terms are so hostile to consumers and the medium.
Yeah, that is fucking crazy, by the way. Yeah, you just bought our $60 game. Yeah, we can take that away at any given notice for no reason at all, by the way.
But they should be taken off the table entirely.
It's like, all right, so I can refund it at any given point and still have the game to play, right? Because that's how that should work.
Needs regulation. Forget video games. If you look at basic commerce for hundreds of years,
Yep.
when you paid money, you either got to keep what you paid for, or if it was a service, you were told when your access ends.
Or you're renting, right? Renting is slightly different, but then it needs to be very clear. It is not a purchase. You are renting.
vast majority of online-only games do neither of those.
He's exactly right. That is a huge problem.
So basically, any game that you've bought through Blizzard, if you play World of Warcraft, you're just renting the game. Microsoft and Minecraft might do the same thing. So we're basically just renting the games that we play. We don't own shit. That's insane, dude. I can now understand why PirateSoftware's video basically put a stop to this entire fucking movement. That video got 1 million+ views. That amount of misinformation without ever clarifying, correcting, or at the very bare minimum, apologizing for getting the whole fucking thing wrong is absolutely disgusting.
If you try to tell me that every studio needs to run their live service game indefinitely or not want to run one at all, then no one's going to run them.
Oh no! He wheeled out
What a
that line about
shame.
publishers having to support the game forever. He was literally watching the video earlier where it says it won't do that in big letters. That wasn't enough. We just can't stop gamers from going there, even when we spell it out.
That's the last clip I want to show from this section on the PirateSoftware video, but it's a very important one because this is something a lot of people also think the Stop Killing Games initiative is about, where developers, publishers will have to support their games forever. Like, until the fucking heat death of the universe, they'll have to
I
support
could understand people thinking that, to be fair, but it did say in big letters that's not the point,
these
right?
games under the initiative. When that is not the case. It is very simply asking that when the game has reached the end of its life cycle, the publishers, developers don't want to work on it any longer, to turn it over to
Hand
the
over the
community
source
to
code.
still be in a playable, accessible state, so the product...
Yeah, I think Hytale, for example, right? Hytale's a game that was worked on for, what, 7 years, 9 years? And they just said it's not coming out, and that is it. It's done. Like, GG. A lot of people are requesting the company to hand over the source code to other people in the community so that they can actually just finish the game and enjoy it, because the work that they did do looked pretty damn good. This is a different situation entirely, but it's a similar thing in terms of handing over the work that you can't keep up with anymore, right?
can still exist.
Very similar.
There is some more nuance, obviously, to how that works, given like publisher developer licensing and a lot of like the code, the binary, that kind of thing. There is a lot at play under the hood there, of course, but it is something that Stop Killing Games isn't naive to, and it is something that is talked about. But I'm not going to dive too deep into it. I encourage you to check more in on it.
One is for the UK to sign a government petition to bring this issue before Parliament. Though, keeping it real, I'm not terribly optimistic
Do they
about
have one for EU as well? Because I'm not in the UK anymore.
this one, since the government response has been a mess by every definition. But the one that has a lot of power, so much so I think it could change
Yeah?
the course of gaming history,
Based.
is the European Citizens Initiative. Now, I
Nice,
said I'm
okay.
approaching this like a time traveler because with the trajectory we're on, these are both going to fail. Again, this one is crazy powerful, but the hurdle we just couldn't get past was that it requires 1 million signatures from citizens of EU countries.
1 million signatures. Hey, that's everybody from Pirate Software's video. That's exactly how many people were turned away from this initiative because of Pirate Software. Surprise!
And we've only made it just under halfway. What a lot of people don't realize is that in the EU especially, it's
Yep.
almost a state of lawlessness regarding the practice of game destruction.
It
That
is.
the vast majority of games with an
The EU already has very strict gaming regulations, by the way, especially the Netherlands and Belgium, especially around loot box mechanics and things like that.
say they can be terminated at any time for any reason.
Insane.
Or Blizzard likes to say any or no reason. But uh-oh, according to the EU Commission, that might be a violation of Directive 93/13 EEC,
Great,
which protects
screw Blizzard.
consumers against unfare terms in consumer contracts. So
Yeah, no,
if
screw
that term
that.
is unfair,
Screw that.
that means that part of the contract is null and void.
He goes on to explain how powerful that can be because of what a mess that is. Because there is so much gray area with how the video games currently operate in regards to those protections, it would be a legal headache that would require an analysis of the laws or implementation of new laws that could lead to, hopefully, an improvement when it comes to gaming. So the big hurdle was the signatures, needing 1 million, and currently it's at like 460,000, so it doesn't reach the threshold. I've been very
This was before Most Critical's video. I'm curious to see what it goes up to after this. I'm going to check it.
vocal from the very beginning about how little faith I have in petitions. But that's just from the perspective of an American. In America, petitions are more worthless than toilet paper.
Oh,
You're
really?
better off just writing what you want on a note to Santa Claus and shipping it to the North Pole than you are doing anything with a petition.
Is
in
that
this country.
true? That's crazy,
I don't know
dude.
how different it is in the EU. Maybe it really is this powerful there that could lead to substantial change and improvement when it comes to games and
Yeah, that is kinda
preservation
crazy.
and all
Holy-
of what we've already talked about.
It's still so far off, man. The EU petition, it's like 58% of the way. You also said there's another video as well, right? I'm assuming it's a follow-up to the last one, right? All right, so does this explain it in more detail or what? I don't know. Let's
I have
go.
no doubt most of you have noticed over the last 10 or 11 months I've been a lot happier. Glowing, really
Yes.
radiant. You can tell
True.
probably just
I
from
thought it just started skincare.
my voice alone and this striking smile. So what is the secret to this newfound happiness of mine? The one
Oh,
trick
God.
doctors don't want you to know? I
Going
haven't been
outside?
online as much. I've been going outside far more
I was joking, dude, but honestly,
frequently.
true.
Yesterday I talked about Stop Killing Games. And there's no way to talk about Stop Killing Games without also mentioning Pirate Software because
Yeah, especially if he basically I don't want to say single-handedly killed the initiative, but had a very big part to play in it.
of the profound effect he has had on that initiative in its demise. I say demise, but it's not actually fully cooked, but it has been on life support.
It's
and
getting close to fully cooked, to be honest. It's like, you know, medium well.
Pirate Software did play a big role in that because of 2 videos he made, as well as a stream, shitting all over it. Pirate Software's response to everything that happened yesterday really caught me by surprise. That was a subversion of my expectations bigger than Game of Thrones Season 8.
Yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's
Wait, this is new? This is from after Charlie's old video. Is he going to apologize?
Season 8.
yeah, Hutcher, I did. I think it's really hilarious to me that that entire community is so butt mad at me for putting out a video 10 months ago about their stuff and then not being refuted, and now it's my fault that everything is...
Oh, he's such a victim, dude. Oh my god, it's happening again. The fucking victim mentality. Yeah, so I shit-talked this initiative and was wrong about it 10 months ago, and they didn't correct me 10 months ago, so surely that means I'm right. No, dickhead, you are wrong, and you're still fucking wrong. I don't want to sound like a dick, but at the same time, I can't fucking help it when shit like this gets said, dude. God fucking damn. Sorry. Jesus.
I cannot believe his ego. His ego is so
it's
out
insane.
of control.
It's so infuriating.
I feel like he's only a week or 2 away from exclusively referring to himself in third person, like Stone Cold fucking Steve Austin.
Yeah.
And that's the truth, because Pirate Software said
Say
so.
so.
Some shit like that. It's crazy how he's responded. The smugness is nails on a chalkboard. It just makes you feel icky listening.
Yeah, it does. It makes me want to smack my head against the wall 13 times, and just in case, a solid 14th to make sure I got the final brain cell smudged against it.
No one hates Pirate Software because he doesn't agree with Stop Killing Games. The reason so many
True.
people are angry at him, myself included here, you can disagree with the movement all you want. If you don't like the initiative, I'm not your fucking dad.
Yeah, it
Make
is
your
what
own
it-
choices there.
I'm not your dad.
But the reason so many people, myself included, do not
But I am your mom.
like how Pirate Software is handling all this is he is refusing, outright refusing, to just admit any level of fault. That
This is because, and this is a pattern with Pirate Software. I have realized he really struggles with taking any sense of accountability.
He was wrong about anything. And that couldn't be more clear from these clips as well as his tweets that he's made. It's actually his tweets that really sent me off the fucking rails here.
Oh no, dude, why? Oh, I don't know if I've got it in me to read a fucking Pirate Software tweet about this situation, dude.
My gourd. Let's start with this little nugget here that
oh my god, why is it an essay?
Deleted from.
Why does he end it with "Stay Frosty"? Oh my god, fuck you. Just go.
Last night, so he tweeted directly at Ross, the guy behind Stop Killing Games, talking about how he made those videos 10 months ago, and since then, his community has been nothing but hateful. A scourge. A fucking tyrannid threat that he must destroy. Your community is fucking rabid, and it's shit to deal with for anyone on the other side of the argument. Why do you think I haven't talked about this shit in 10 months? Why do you think we auto-mute anyone bringing it up in chat? Because it's been rage bait and shit-flinging the entire time. And just goes on about, like, how he is the victim...
Yeah, but they're digging in your asshole for the shit to fling. Like, am I crazy for this?
...of Ross's toxic, terrible community, which is hilariously hypocritical coming from... Pirate Software, when in his videos and his streams, he makes it very clear and is very rude about how much he dislikes not only Ross, but the movement. And it's not like he's being very professional and polite about it, you know, buttoned up.
Oh,
Listen
no.
to it.
So
oh, no. Okay.
this was my first encounter of him.
Oh shit, no, this is actually really dumb. It's used car salesman garbage. This is shit. It's shit. Not only do I not want to back this, I'm going to actively tell people not to.
I gotta take a deep breath before we continue this.
That is awful. That is a horrible goddamn direction. That's awful, dude. No,
yeah?
Eat my entire ass. The level of...
Eat my entire ass, he said.
...of stupid that I just had to receive was like sitting on Twitter for 12 hours. This shit sucks. That's a really stupid-ass move. That's incredibly stupid-ass move. I think this is ass. This is complete garbage. All of this can eat shit, then. I dropped the mask entirely.
What mask, bro? You never fucking had one.
I have no qualms about that. They can eat my entire ass. The whole thing.
My
that sounds stupid as shit.
Jesus Christ. Oh my fucking god, what an asshole. I think you might want to eat Blizzard's ass at this point. Is that what's happening?
Ross and his community that are actually the assholes here. Brother, come on. You can't possibly be calling the wambulance with a side of french fries here about people...
Oh, never change. Never change, Charlie. Never change.
Anyway, he did delete that tweet, but just a little...
Of course he fucking deleted that tweet.
He made a new tweet.
Great. Bro, just get off the internet.
Very long tweet as well as a series of
Go to bed.
tweets.
Oh my god, it's 2 pages long.
In regards to this whole thing.
It's 3 pages.
And in all these words, all this mumbo jumbo, not once does he say he was...
Oh my god, he finished it again with Steve. I'm gonna fucking... do a flip.
Wrong about anything. In fact, he just continues to double down, even proudly stating he is doubling down. Wow, how incredibly noble, doubling down on things you are provably, blatantly wrong about.
Bro needs a carpenter, because there's a couple of screws loose somewhere.
He hit the Jumbotron for the replay on yesterday's video, going over so many of the things that he was incorrect about.
We just watched that, which is good.
In regards to the initiative. But the point is, that is an issue that I really thought that he would address. Be like, hey, yeah, I did get this part wrong. You're right, guys. Sorry about that. I didn't mean to misrepresent it. I still don't fully agree with it, but I do recognize that I had some errors.
You get banned in his chat when you talk about it? Yeah, I wonder why. This is like the definition of an echo chamber. If somebody tells him he's wrong, no, he's not, because he doesn't allow people to tell him he's wrong.
It prompted me to reach out directly to him, to talk to him, to see.
He reached out directly. Okay, big man, let's go.
Why isn't he acknowledging that? Is there a reason? Like, what is going on there? So I did, made it very clear he was not very happy with my coverage of Stop Killing Games.
Of course he wasn't, because you represented it as the movement that it is. And bro is trying to make it into a fucking moonwalk and going backwards.
Which is fine. I think that's totally fine. I'm not going to leak DMs or really go in depth on our private conversation, but the point of me reaching out to him was to talk about his refusal to acknowledge that he did, maybe unintentionally, misrepresent Stop Killing Games. And it led to a just shy of 2 hours like circular argument that ultimately got us nowhere. He was more focused on his...
Hey, this sounds just like the Dr. K interview with Pirate Software Not Gonna Cap. It sounds like the exact same thing. A 2-hour conversation going in circles because he can't take accountability or understand why people have a problem with how he addresses things because he's so bullish about it all the time.
Now, he did just post a tweet where he said he talked to me and Josh Strife Hayes, and in that tweet, this will prove how useless our conversation was, unfortunately, there's not a single peep about misrepresenting what Stop Killing Games was about. It's more so about how the public just doesn't understand game development, and it kind of...
Yeah, it's your guys' fault. Pirate Software, an actual victim? Nah, bro, this is your fault.
Reads to me like we're all just too stupid to understand it from his side of things. Our conversation basically amounted to toilet paper,
of course.
Unfortunately. Again, I was focused on, you have done this, maybe unintentionally, you should at least say that you have, or like, you know, are you aware that you did this? And then it became more of like, nope, I didn't. You're wrong. And then he uses our conversation at the start of this for something that was not even the focus. If he would just come out and be like, yeah, you know what? Looking back on it, really reflecting, hearing what you guys are saying, I can see why this was so misleading for so many people. I didn't mean for it to be. And yeah, maybe I misunderstood some of these things.
He'll never
This
do
would
that.
not have-
He'll never do that. We're gonna leave it there.
He just comes across as a narcissist. He
That's all you need to know. Hey, like, comment, and subscribe. That's it. He's a narcissist, bit of a shithead. I feel like in the last 35 minutes of us watching this shit, or hour, I guess, or however long it was, I've lost the ability to form a cognitive thought.